好，我们的银行保险资金那个你跟这个叫。
Each of the individuals being arrested in the video is referred to as a deadbeat, which refers to debtors lacking creditworthiness. Due to long-term unpaid debts, they are now being apprehended by a joint effort of the court and the police. According to data released by a number of third-party platforms, as of June 16, 2023, the cumulative number of debtors with defaults in China has exceeded 26.65 million, with a daily increase of around 17,000 individuals. Based on this data, the annual increase in problematic debtors could potentially surpass 5 million. We cannot independently verify the accuracy of this information, but one thing is certain. The number of debtors with no creditworthiness has been rapidly increasing in the past year. It is said that courts across the country are carrying out large-scale arrest operations targeting these individuals, which is the scene we are witnessing now. Some of these debtors are business owners or operators of small and medium-sized enterprises who have lost their creditworthiness due to the closure of their businesses and inability to repay bank loans, resulting in insolvency. Some of them were once white-collar workers, including executives from foreign companies, state-owned enterprises, and large corporations. These former high-income individuals took on debt to buy houses, cars, and indulge in consumption during the years when the overall economic conditions were favorable. However, now they are suddenly facing pay cuts, layoffs, or unemployment due to the withdrawal of foreign investment. They have instantly lost their source of income and are unable to repay their substantial mortgages on time, resulting in them becoming defaulters. Others resorted to online loans for investment purposes. In the past, they managed to barely cope with their financial obligations by utilizing multiple credit cards and robbing Peter to pay Paul. However, as the economy declined, they were unable to borrow money, causing their financial chain to break. As a result, their credit cards became overdue, and they were listed as defaulters by the banks.
Damn, I never imagined I'd end up like this at 40. Can't even scrape together $100 in my pocket and drowning in debt. All that talk of family, friendship, and love, once you're in debt, all that's left is heartlessness. With the mountain of debt I have, I've lost everything. My cars, my house, and even had to shut down my beauty salon.
This lady used to be the owner of a beauty salon, but perhaps due to poor management or the overall economic downturn, she's now bankrupt. With a massive amount of debt, she had to sell off all her properties and cars to repay it.
Well, like I have said it, debt is not necessarily a good nor bad thing. But too much debt invested in unwise things can become a terrible, terrible thing. And sometimes I don't understand why greedy people can see this. Or maybe because they are greedy, that's why they can see it. That might be the case. Because China is realizing this the hard way. And I know, when people hear me say China, everyone gets so emotional, everyone gets so sentimental, and they start attacking me in the comment section. You know, I did a video last time where I said that China was going through a lot of troubles and that things in China are not always as rosy as we from Africa might think. And you know what happened? A lot of people told me to just be concerned about Africa and Africa issues and let China be. Which I find that so cynical, you know. Because the purpose of making these videos, right, is so that people can learn. The purpose of me even sitting here and talking with you guys is so that we can all have this constructive conversation. We can all educate each other. we can all be there for each other. We can make sure that we learn from the errors of other people, not from our own errors. Like they say goes, a wise person learns from the mistakes of his neighbors, while the foolish from his. Wise people observe the mistake made by their neighbors and learn from it, and they never made the same mistake. While the foolish learns from their own mistakes. They never see what was wrong with the neighbors. They never saw the mistake, or they were not paying attention to all the mistakes that were made by their neighbors. And by so doing, they made the same mistake all over again. That is my whole point. So Africa is so interconnected with China. We get almost everything from China. I can assure you that 4 of every 5 goods in Africa is made from China. China is Africa's biggest trading partner. China has done a lot of infrastructures in Africa. In fact, China is so involved in Africa in such a way that I think Africa cannot, or maybe will face a lot of difficulties if China were to pull out. But then again, Africa should not get themselves trapped. Africa must be smart enough not to build things that really are not important. Because if there's one country that is good at building things that goes nowhere or that no one uses, it's China. China has massive or huge roads that goes nowhere, that no one uses. Have you seen the numbers of ghost cities in China? They just build things. I have been to China, so I know what I'm talking about. They build massive structures that goes nowhere. They have cities that have been built from scratch all the way up, but no one lives there. They have roads that no one uses. So China is good, or China is number one in structures or in things like this. And right now, the debt crisis in China is getting out of control. You know, when the pandemic struck, China sealed the country for like 3 years. Nobody in, nobody out, everything down. And people were greatly affected by this. That is why many people lose their jobs. And those people have taken out mortgages. They have a lot of loans. And now they are unable to pay their loans because they don't have any jobs. And if they cannot pay their loans, then what will happen to them? Well, you all saw in the video, they are being arrested by the police. So it's funny, the government created this problem. The government is not arresting the people. You can see how funny things are, or how crazy things can get, right? This is how things can get from being good to getting to terrible. During the China Prime days, where everything was good, where everything moves smoothly, the government pumped in money into the systems and gave loans to anyone who wanted it. Yeah. After that, there was this crisis. And during the crisis, we heard about the Evergreen debacle, how much money they were in debt. And even up to now, they've not recovered. And it has just been like that. Companies pulling out of China because they cannot stand the lockdowns. It's terrible. So my brothers and sisters in Africa, I would urge you guys to be very careful when doing things. Remember, debt is good, okay, or credit is good. But too much credit is bad. And if you could do it all by yourself, okay, if you could start up that business without taking any credit, without borrowing any money from somebody, then I will urge you to do it that way. If you can scrape some few coins here and there to start up a small business without going to the bank to take a loan, do it that way. It will be a lot more better for you. You will have a lot of peace of mind. You will sleep well on your bed, knowing that you owe nobody a single cent. But if you are indebted, if you have a lot of loans to pay back, you will see how difficult and how complicated your life will get. That is just my own advice to you. But then again, you guys are grown-up people, so you guys get to decide for yourself, right? But you guys out there, let us know your take on this whole crisis in China. Do you think that this is just going to get worse? Do you think that China is going to go through from one problem to another? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good way, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot. I shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.